5 of the Butcher Block. We got a very special guest, somebody that, we consider family, has accomplished great things. We saw him grow to be a great man. 2-time All-American, second team All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler.
East Chicago legend.
Yeah, 2-time All-Big Ten.
Purdue legend.
32.5 career sacks.
Carolina Panthers legend.
2015 Super Bowl participant. 2007 Indiana High School basketball state champ.
Man.
The list goes on.
Man, accolades on accolades.
We in the presence of greatness.
Yes, sir.
Rub something up for me.
I appreciate that.
We appreciate your presence. We got Kawann Short in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been supposed to happen, man.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we're going to dive in, man, speak about, growing up. Tell them exactly where you from.
I am from the Harbor, 3585 Block Avenue. Okay. I grew up on Ivy for a little bit, but the most of the years I remember is right off Block Street, right behind Guthrie.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So growing up over there, what were some of the things you think that you learned or that shaped you, especially when it comes to sports, like, that toughness, everything, like, what some of the things you think that you was able to translate from, your upbringing to the field and to the court?
It was rough. So I think that would just gave me those scars to go out in the battlefield and do what I wanted to do as far as, sports, basketball, football. But I think most importantly, it just showed me the ins and outs of, like, to persevere, of, like, things go wrong. Mm-hmm. You just, just shake back and figure it out. So just being over there and just seeing a lot of things happening in the neighborhood, seeing a lot of people come, go. Yeah. I think it was just one of those things where you kind of take the good and put it to the side, and you analyze the bad, and you just adjust off that.
Yeah, because I know, we from the same neighborhood. I think one of the things, too, those that are somewhat successful, we were the ones that thought a little different, and we also saw what we didn't want to be, showed us, what to avoid. Right. And, I always credit, like, some of the older guys, especially in my family, for steering me away from certain things. Yeah. So, everything we saw kind of shaped us, but we also saw what we didn't want to become as well.
Exactly. And the great thing about the neighborhood, that we come from, all inner city neighborhoods, is that, when guys in the neighborhood see that you can be something, the neighborhood take care of you.
That's a fact.
It's like, the neighborhood take care of you. They're not going to let you, they see you out doing something you're not supposed to do. You got older guys that's going to check that. Right then and there, I can remember, just, you being younger than me. I definitely remember you being one of the ones where, everybody could see, like, he was gonna be one of them guys, when he got to school. So,
I think it was just, man, I was one of those cats that was just around everybody. Yeah, as far as I was in the Harbor, I was on Dark Side, Calumet, and just being able to just go out there, and it wasn't even about, sports. It was just the connections that you had, the group of guys that you was around, and everybody fed into that, that motivation. But also, those bad examples was some of the ones that you needed in your life too to say, that's not it. I need to, go the other way. Yeah, so I think that's where you see, you coming from, the Dark Side with it was Dark Side Day, Harbor Day, Calumet Day, and just going and playing some of those basketball tournaments and all that, and seeing, this guy on this side is, tough and competitive. So just having that and being able to go over there and without being in any trouble, it helped a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Our city, we're a small city connected to a huge city. Right. But with us being a smaller city, I always said I felt bad for people who couldn't go where you wanted to go in the city. Like, me growing up, a lot of my connections with other guys throughout the city was through sports. Right, right. 3 of my best friends is from Calumet. We started playing ball together in the 3rd grade. Right. Yeah.
So like White River, that's when we first started to meet everybody throughout the city.
That's like you said,
biddy ball.
Right, biddy ball, White River. Yeah.
It's like earning their respect and playing against people, and then like you say, going playing in all the neighborhood tournaments and stuff. Like, we built lifetime bonds. Yeah. And, it was like the city put a shield around you when they see you got potential.
No, for sure.
So were you always athletic? Was it just something that just came natural, or something that came later?
I was always a big kid. I was probably one of the biggest kids in the class.
Yeah.
Every class that I've been in, and I think it gave me. Well, let me take it back a little bit. My mom had 6 kids.
Okay.
4 boys, 2 girls. So all the boys. I had 2 older brothers, and we had the basketball rim in the back of the house, and it was like, if you want to be good, you playing against these guys. You know? So, I mean, getting dunked on, all that stuff, just in the backyard, and it just make that mental toughness.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so
sure.
I had no choice but to be athletic and try to do everything, playing baseball in the park and going to Penn Center. So, man, it was just destined to be. And then once I kind of figured out that I was somewhat decent, that's when I kind of took it serious for basketball.
Okay.
And start doing what the kids do, playing every day, making it consistent play. So I think that's where the athletic part came in.
Yeah, and I know in our city, basketball has always been the number one sport. Like, and a lot of people, who know you from your professional career, they might not know that you was an exceptional basketball player.
Really elite in both sports.
In high school. So
decent.
With you being, as good as you were in basketball, and the influence the city had on basketball, it wasn't a whole lot of people coming to the football games or pushing people that direction.
Yeah.
And we always see people who, as I was a football player too. I played basketball with guys. I'm like, he'll probably be a lot better on the football field. Yeah. So, what pushed you to really take football serious in such a basketball heavy, city?
Crazy. I can name Coach Money, man, Coach Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just
Money.
kept
real legend. Yeah.
Kept every time he saw me, man, come play, and I was just like, man, I'm basketball.
Yeah.
I'm basketball. He was like, no, you can be real good, and it was just like it took that last time, and I think it was going into my 8th grade year. He was like, come play, and if you don't like it, you can walk away from it. But I just want to say that I gave you the opportunity. You don't know if you don't like it if you don't try it. So went out there and I played well, and I was playing with some of the best guys like Dave Bonaparte, who was exceptional. Dave Douglas, who was good because they've been playing since he was young.
Yeah.
Pop Warner and all that. And went out there and I was decent, but I still was basketball driven.
Right.
I was like, So I did that 8th grade year, but then I went into my freshman year. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. And then Coach Parks was like, man, same thing Coach Money said, just come try it. And then I realized, Coach Miles was making people run the Zales. So I was like, let me. He was like, if you play football, you ain't got to run the Zales. Let me get that.
Cardinal run.
That. So I ended up getting on the football team a little later, and I wasn't impressed. I was just more like, I'm here because I ain't trying to do the Zales. Then when you stick with something and you start actually trying to perfect it, and you put your effort into it, then you realize the love that you got for it because you start seeing it at a different angle.
Yeah.
And I think going into my sophomore year, started playing a little more. And then after that, I started getting like letters, just invites to different colleges and stuff. So I'm like, oh, it was before back.
Kind of real.
It's basketball. So I'm like, yeah, let me kind of, if I just tuck my head and keep going and see what this thing get me. And then by junior year, it's kind of. And then by junior year, it just kind of started falling in love for the game of breaking down football and actually learning, different positions and aspects of football. So I think that's where the love for the game, for football, came probably end of sophomore going into junior year.
Yeah, it's just something different about, you play football at EC, like you say, it don't get the notoriety that the hoop squad get, but it's like, we going out there. And, we playing the Lake Centrals and Crown Points, and they got 100 dudes, Maryville, and man, we got 40 dudes, So it's just something different about us just going to battle and going to war with your brothers. It just make you more just fall in love with the game, so.
No, definitely. You see that other sideline over there, Maryville, and you see all those guys playing one position.
Right.
Yeah.
We playing everything.
We playing both. I'm going from
special teams,
D tackle to right guard to maybe fullback sometimes, and senior year got a little bit of tight end, but it was just like, I think that's where it molded you. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know.
Sure.
I didn't know if I was going to be good at D-line or offensive line. So I think that's where you just put your toes in the sand and you kind of try to figure it out.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that you said, like, just these coaches consistently putting it in your ear, hey, try it out. And one decision of not wanting to make that Cardinal run to Zales.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was a whole lot of other factors, but that's one decision that was really life-changing.
Yeah, big boys don't like to run, man. So I was like, I'll do anything not to run to Zales.
we most definitely still got to just give a big shout out to, like you said, man, Coach Monroe and you know Judah Parks, you know Tony Napolis, man. We had real
Coach Dino, all them guys,
influences in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, these guys really should be highlighted, and you know we should definitely put a spotlight on them. So it was great that you shouted out Coach Money, you know, because he been there for a lot of us, you know, for a long time.
Yeah, he coached me from baseball, basketball, and football since I was a kid.
Yeah, real staple in the community.
Same guys, man, never changed, nothing.
Yeah.
You see them one day, they can be down bad, but they gonna still have that love and that, you know, that situation that. You're like, man, this is why I keep coming back. This is why I keep saying, so.
Because, I mean, it's fulfilling for them to see guys like you know what I'm saying? Because, for sure, they ain't forgot the conversations.
Right.
You know?
A lot of times, it's dope to see, like, they were genuine. They never really wanted nothing out of it. Just to see you do better and be in a better position. So
some people see potential in you before you do.
Yeah, for sure.
And those guys did that. So, like I said, I tell them thank you every time I see them, man. Every time I talk to them.
That's real.
So just speaking on potential, obviously, you fell in love with the game and things excelled for you. How was your recruitment process? What other schools were kind of involved? When did you know that kind of process was real? I know you say you started getting letters, but when did you kind of figure out like it was real? Like I'm really, about to make a decision, a life-changing decision.
Believe it or not, man, I got a football scholarship off basketball. My first offer was Purdue. My full ride was Purdue. Coach Hagan, he said that the footwork and all that was there, and start getting the notoriety of playing, Maryville and all these guys and doing decent. And they came and seen. I think he was telling me they was coming to see like Crownport and Maryville, and like who was this guy on the other side of the field? When you got to do well when nobody's watching, man, and I think that's the most important thing. Just because you think nobody's watching you, man, somebody watch you. So, once I got the letter for Purdue, man, then that's when all the schools pretty much in the Big Ten started coming. Notre Dame tried to offer me on the spot as well, but I was so committed to basketball still.
Yeah.
Once I told it was Coach Tiller, he was like, you can play basketball, but you got to do 1 full year of football.
They always get you with that.
They always get you. And as a young cat, you're like, okay, I can go play.
Yeah.
And then you seeing all these other guys that used to do it, man, and then you do that 1 year of football, and you be like, yeah, I ain't going back to basketball. I can't. Nah. Because by the time we get done with football, basketball are like 3-4 games in. There's no rest.
Right.
No rest. So I'm like, it's not it.
But then you also see like what a real Big Ten basketball player look like.
Yeah.
It's like, I might be able to get out there at the same time.
You talk about a 6'3", maybe 6'2", 6'3", center in high school, and then you go to these AAUs and you playing against 6'5" point guards. So I'm like, let me take the smarter route, man. It's a lot more positions in football than it is in basketball. So, just logically thinking like that, man, it was just be smart.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it was dope. I'm pretty sure it was dope for you to actually be there with, a high school teammate. Somebody that you had won, like Keon said before, that 2007 high school, state championship, man. If we can go back for a little bit. How was that experience? Like, how was that year? Did you feel like y'all had something special, at the beginning of that year?
We knew we had something good, but we didn't think that we was going to be elite like how we was. And I think with coming to practice every day, playing in these tournaments, it was just giving us, everybody, more confidence every day when we came into practice. I mean, you got guys just talk to each other in practice. And, that's what made us better.
Right.
We got the Angel Garcia. He cussing us out in Spanish. But we going neck to neck. You got Remy, Smooth and all those guys, man. It was just it was just we was gaining so much love towards each other. Like we was just ready to play for each other, and like you saw it as we got further into the season, man. Just everybody was special in their own way.
Yeah, because that team, talent-wise, you probably seen teams that had more talent than y'all, but I think that team was built. You know, you had guys that checked all the boxes and guys that played. Like, y'all had legit stars and role players and guys that played their roles, so it made for, like, a perfect team.
Yeah.
We knew our roles.
A lot of, high school teams, you throw, like, 2 first-team All-State guys or something, but I think y'all just had the perfect mix, you know what I'm saying, with guys that, like you said, played their roles, you know what I'm saying?
We weren't no dummies, man. We knew what we needed to, we knew he needed the ball. We knew he was our guy.
Yeah.
We knew that. We knew Angel can score, you know what I'm saying? We got Terry can score at will if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? All those guys. Yeah. We had Sane. Sane was the dark horse, man. Defense. This guy was hurt all year, but he came out there and laid it on the line. You know, those guys like that just knew what it took, you know what I'm saying, the roles and where they came from, you know, coming from Gary and all those guys, you know. So it was just one of those ones, like, we know our role. We know this thing goes through E, and we know E is our, you know what I'm saying, the engine of this Rolls Royce. And so we knew that we were just trying to, you know what I'm saying, be a positive to him. So, and I think that's when everybody just took on their role and they played it well.
Yeah, I remember just going to the games, and I saw how Terry and DeAndre was hounding full court. I was like, man, that got to be tough for anybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, then you got to go through that, and then you got to go through K and Angel and Smooth. I'm like, man, this squad is really legit.
And our bench came off and did their thing too. So that was like I said, that was the good thing about it, man. Just we all had love for each other, and then the coach just let us. You know, Judah was on that coaching staff as well, Turk, and he just let us really go play. Like, it wasn't like no X's and O's. If we had to, yeah, cool. But he was like, man, just go have fun and just run the plays.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times that's best, especially on offense in high school, take the thinking out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let your talent just, speak for itself. But that was a very mature mentality that y'all had in high school to know, like, okay, he the guy, everybody else, you know what I'm saying, gonna fit around him because there wasn't no ego involved and none of that, and that was huge for y'all.
Hit your open shots, man. Hit your open shots. Take the ones that give you, man. That's what that was.
What was that final moment like when it was over? When y'all had beat Eric Gordon in the state championship? Like, I mean, that's still like one of the my core memories from even just growing up in East Chicago.
This is crazy, man, because we played him earlier that year.
Yeah,
So
that's when Smooth's ankle was.
Yeah. But he came in and hit like 2-3 threes, and then they took him out. It was like, nah. But this was Christmas tournament, and he dropped like 50 on us.
Yeah.
And it was just like, but the thing about it was, we wasn't like, oh, we bad or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like, we still put up a good fight. And then we come back tournament.
I just downloaded that information,
Yeah, E4 Golden State. And we just took on the moment, man. It was just crazy because we was in a hotel the night before. And that morning, woke up and we had to go breakfast and everything. And the craziest thing is a cardinal hit the window. Like that was a cardinal hit the window. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Cardinal hit the window.
His destiny.
I forgot who was in the room. We just yelled, man. We was like, this is crazy. It's destined. So that game, man, it started off great, man. It was going back and forth. Yeah. We took off a little bit, and then I'll never forget the guy, Joey Brown, just came and knocked all them threes down. Next thing you know, we only up by like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm saying, we took it away. But I think that whole game just taught us the perseverance. It was just like never waver, never doubt.
Yeah.
Just keep playing your game. Don't try to do too much. This is where we see your role come into play because you're not trying to be the bigger person.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it was, man. And then, once the clock hit 00, man, it was just like a relief. Just like, man, this is unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely had a great time, man. A great run.
That was a surreal moment for the city. I mean, brought everybody together. It was a great run, and something you can carry for the rest of your life. Is like, even now, I know when you run into the guys that you play with, is like you've accomplished so much in your life, but a lot of guys, man, that's the highlight of it, you know what I'm saying? Them memories is, what they going to hold on to forever.
Same for me, man. Super Bowl and all that, man, that high school team, man, it was just unbelievable because it hasn't been done in a while.
Yeah,
so, like,
sure.
that was the the heart of hometown. You know what I'm saying? Everybody came together.
Yeah.
Parade was crazy.
And it haven't been done since.
Yeah,
so I mean, that means something. Yeah, that means something.
It definitely does, man. It definitely holds a special part of my heart.
Okay.
I know, Jones. I know you're gonna want to clip that, the description of the 2007 state team. I know it's probably. I think you probably want to clip that one.
Yeah, we could just write down like some of the clips.
Yeah, I know. Just.
Yeah, pop a couple more flicks too, Jonesy, like as we.
Have y'all record?
You can do it after we record.
Okay.
Where you want to go next? We probably just go by layers, talk about college a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely.
Pro career.
Yeah, I think we can kind of touch on Purdue. I think probably like maybe we can go start back at what was that particular moment at Purdue that you might have felt like NFL was real. If it was a play or if it was a game. I think we probably can start there. So kind of segue into NFL.
And we'll go like life after football.
Yeah. So in that touch NFL, then So we can go ahead. So I mean, speaking of Purdue, you get to Purdue, like Keon said, 2-time All Big Ten. Obviously your career is progressing there. Was it a particular moment? Was it a particular play or a game where you really thought like this NFL dream could become real, or was that even a dream for you? At the point.
It was definitely a dream, man. But I think I didn't really realize it until my redshirt junior year, going into my senior year.
Okay.
I came in overweight, so I had the redshirt my freshman year. But I think that helped me to hold back another year. But it was one of those ones where I think I was enjoying the moment of just being a college student.
Right.
Understanding that I'm not at home, I'm not in my mom's roof, but I got to represent where I'm from. So I think that's where, I had to put my head down, grind. But I tell people every time, man, college is harder than the NFL. And just knowing, and it's probably lighting up now, but just knowing those tour days, you know what I'm saying? You got class, then you got to come to practice, you got to do all this stuff, and you got to be good. Because I mean, this is your resume trying to get to the next level.
Crazy. Each one said the same thing. Like college was a little bit harder.
Yeah, and I think just they acquire a lot more, and then they put you a lot of places. You probably can play 2 positions, but and then that coach, just depending on your coach, your position coach, I mean, demand a lot more out as well. Yeah. It's like your dad, man, just trying to steer you into the right direction. And I can just remember we played Ohio State. Ohio State was probably like top 3 in the nation. And I think I probably got like 2-3 sacks, field goal block. So it was like one of those ones that kind of like you felt it. Yeah. You beat this top team in the nation, and you kind of start getting like now your name is starting to get mentioned, a lot more. So I think that's where it kind of shifted to me to where I got potential. I got a chance to make it to the next level. Now, 1, I just got to stay healthy, and 2, I got to get better than what I am now. So, and I think that's where, as a student, man, you kind of just as an athlete, you kind of try to figure out the next step. Where you can go, how you can take it. And that's staying in school in the summer, not coming back home because you're just gonna be hanging out and stuff like that. So
that's discipline.
Not going on spring break.
Stuff
like that.
That's big because I mean I know as a man now looking back, that was one of the things I fell short on. Trying to stay connected to family and friends and going home when I should have been in school and still working out and stuff. So like I said, that's very mature you at that age to realize. And I mean, you was laser focused on your goal.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
One, it's just like where I'm from, I ain't had the funds to go on a spring break, like a kid. So, and I think that's where it kind of helped me because going into my sophomore year, my redshirt sophomore, the guy that I was behind, I was number 3. The guy that I was behind went to spring break, got into a big fight.
Yeah.
and he had to have reconstruction surgery on his face, kind of. So now I'm the next man up.
Right,
That was the whole, you know what I'm saying, the whole mentality. And
Yeah.
once I got in that position, I just never looked back. And like that's where it just opened up the gate. So, you take advantage on the circumstances that you're given, and you can't let it dwell because somebody behind you trying to take your spot.
Yeah.
So
I remember around that time, I'm watching your games and you popping off the screen, but I'm just heavy in the sports. I'm always looking up mock drafts and different stuff. So I'm like looking up mock drafts, and I'm calling each one. I'm like, man, they got KK going first round on this one. They got him going early second round. He rated the #1 D tackle in some spots. Some people got him rated 2 or 3, and I'm like, yeah, he really one of the top D tackles in the nation.
yeah, that was tough, man. I couldn't let the outside distract me, though. You hear this, you got these agents calling, and you got everybody, your friends and family around you saying, the potential of this, potential of that. But I'm like, that's the future. I got to focus on what I'm doing right now, and I'm trying to. If they say first round, I'm trying to get top 10. That's what that's the mentality that you got to work for. But it was, man, it was hard not to hear it. Not to actually talk about it.
Like you say, coming from where we from, it has so much of an influence on you, but it could also drown you if you get too caught up in it, because every time you come home, it's gonna be a crowd of people around you trying to attach themselves to your accomplishments. Yeah. So that's one of the things I've always admired about you. You was able to block out the noise. When you see you're gonna be with the same guys, kept a real tight knit, circle. And that's one of the reasons I think you were able to rise from everything around here. You didn't let, the people, and I'm sure they've been always saluting you, and but you didn't let none of that get to your head, and you always, like I said, kept your goals, your main thing. And while they see you have a good time when you come home, it's like they don't know what you saying now, the work you was putting in, and your mind was at, like, they saying first round, I got to get to top 10, things like that.
It was the mentality, man. Like, I don't know about when you guys went off to school. It's like you at school, you grinding. You go look on social media, and you look like you guys just having so much fun, right? And it's like, and then you come home, and it's like, this what, why y'all not, so it was one of those ones, man. I had to experience it a couple of times, and I had to realize, like, man, home gonna be home. Yeah, it's gonna be there, and like, you take care of what you can take care of now, and then you can always go back and dish out the, the love that the city brought you. So I think that's where the mentality that I had was just understanding that time will do, and you put your head down, you focus, and you do what you need to do, take care of, and it'll take care of you. Yeah.
I mean, you speak about the like the business side of college, the agents. Then you speak about all the work that you had to put in. How do you feel about NIL right now in football in college? Like, how do you feel that's impacting college? You think that's positive, negative, and looking back at yourself, how much do you think that would have impacted you?
I think right now it's a double sword, man, because I'm all for those kids getting what they deserve for bringing so much notoriety.
You know the work. You know the work.
Exactly. And they're getting compensated for what they're doing. Compensated for the name on their back. So I think that's good. But then I also think that some people have a different mindset of what the NIL is. And yes, this kid deserved this, but I'm also like, now it's teaching these kids not to fail, because if I don't get this money here, then I'm gonna go somewhere else and get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not even about football, it's about what you can do for me. Right. So I think that's where they kind of gotta figure it out. Like, you can only transfer one time instead of.
I agree. They got
and all that stuff.
But some of the movement.
Yeah. Or just put a whole cap on it. Or you have let's just say 3-4 layers. The top guys get this layer. And you keep it that way. That way, I mean, the guy from Michigan, that's crazy. Was it like $15 million?
The one that flipped from
the quarterback,
LSU.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing like I mean, it's this on the basketball side, but I seen VCU just say, boom, we got a certain number.
Yeah.
We're going to break that down. But then you look at that, and it's like, is that even fair? Because if I average 25 and he averaged 3, is it fair for us to get the same amount of money? So I agree that it needs to be some type of, cap or
but I think
some type of tier.
Like VCU, I mean, they putting it out there, so you know what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah.
You know exactly
Right,
what you get if you go there. So, I mean, some guys, but you got to build a team too. So it might be a winning product. The first to the 12 guys getting the same thing, so your bench might be deeper because they know they get exactly what they get, and that's better than one guy getting 10 billion. This guy probably not getting nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the crazy thing, like the guy at Michigan, let's say he played 2-3 years, he could say, hey, I want to go to Alabama and get another 10 for 1 year. So, like, it's crazy.
And the craziest thing for me is seeing like, and you'd had like, I know this, it's basketball too, but like some legendary coaches just like, I just can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Like you'd had a lot of coaches
That's
just.
why Nick Saban left.
Yeah, like just leave in the midst of, like the coach from Miami. He said it like, man, we made the Final Four and I had 9 players say, boom, I can go find a better situation.
Yeah.
They got to be tough. So, I'd like to see it kind of get ironed out.
Yeah, I think the coach's voices is definitely being muted a little bit. They're not going to have the same sting,
And then like people, it's like nobody's, the pride of your school, that don't matter no more. It's like, your tradition, that don't matter, So like honestly,
in the 6 schools.
Yeah, it's just crazy because you just see some people just do it because they got to go help their family. I understand that.
Right.
So albeit, and then you got some that do it because the money's better over here, and the team might not be as good, but this is a better fit for me. And some just already know that I'm not going to make it to the next level, so I got to start my life now. So it's so many different things around, man, and I just think that those kids is doing it because they need to, and like I said, but I'm all for those kids getting NILs. I wish I would have got it when I was in school. Compensate me back,
they definitely need to back.
Exactly, but nah, man,
back pay,
it's definitely good to see that they getting money like that, and now it just give them a head start of financial, freedom, and then having financial literacy.
Yeah, that's important.
After they get to the next level, and then that money's really get big.
Right.
It's like the money's being made, so we can't knock it. Because the players, it shouldn't all go to these schools and these executives, and because, you know what I'm saying, they do deserve their cut. It's just figuring out, the right way and what's going to really set them up to be the most successful in life. You know what I'm saying?
And coaches leave schools for better opportunities all the time.
For sure.
They on to the right track. It's just figuring out all the details.
Straighten it out.
Yeah.
The one thing I do like, though, is that if you go to JUCO, you still got 4 years eligibility if you go to D1. I respect that because those kids, man, some people just have a late start.
Yeah.
And you get to JUCO and you play 1 or 2 years there, and then you got 2 more years when you go to D1. Now you get 4. But it also opens up the portal of these athletes being elite now.
Yeah.
This comes from the coaches not trying to go back to high school and get these kids, and So it's got its ups and downs about it.
Yeah, because the only down part to me with that is you got this 18-year-old coming from a high school program that's dominant.
Yeah.
And say he on the offensive line. Now you got to block a 24-year-old. That's
like BYU, though. BYU kids is always older.
The older.
Yeah. So speaking on, your career, your esteemed career, everything you did at Purdue, when you seen that it was in reach to be a professional, to make it to the next level, what was that moment like being drafted, second round, number 44, to the Carolina Panthers? Like, what was that moment like with your mother, knowing, 6 kids, growing up where you grew up at, your family? What was that moment like for you and your family?
It was surreal, man. It was, you pick your agent, then they send you off to go train. So you train in 2-3 months to try to put yourself in a better position for the draft. And then you go to the combine, and I felt like, I didn't participate in the combine because I had a hamstring issue, but it felt, that whole process was just, it was just mind blowing. Like you see a lot of kids just lose sleep at the combine.
Yeah.
And combine 3 days, and at your position. So you out there. It's a job interview. It's like a big job interview. You basically you stripping down to your compression shorts. You walking across the stage, and you got these coaches in the stands. You step on the scale. You hearing everybody say, it's just so it was one of those. It was a process, man. That it was too much. And as a young kid coming out, just knowing that, all right, I'm potentially to be this, but like this can hurt me right here if I don't succeed in here. So, you going into these interviews, these coaches is asking everything from elementary to the day you there. And when they ask these questions, it's because they know the truth.
Yeah.
So if you sitting here lying, they be like, KK, what you did in 5th grade, why'd you get expelled? Stuff like that. Like they know the answer, but they just want to see if you're gonna be truthful with them and come back and tell them. So like they got a lot of dirt on you, and this is their job. This is one note. This is the right guy for our system. And you go back home and you're like, man, forget this team that asked me these questions. Forget that. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to bring out the worst in you. They want to see. We know that you're a good guy.
Yeah.
But like, how are you when you mad? How are you when you upset? So, that's just the whole process, and that's when your agent kind of, walk you through those type of steps. But then you get to the draft, and you got a chance to. So I'm projected, late first, early second. Agent like, yo, you got invited to New York. You want to go? I'm like, nah. If I was a definite first round, then cool. Like I didn't want to have that embarrassment going into the the next day. It was not an embarrassment, but just
the green room.
Exactly. So I rented out a place in the marina, day one, and it was crazy because I did an interview on one of my pro day, well not pro days, but I had a visit with Dallas. Dallas flew me out there. I'm talking to Jerry Jones. He sent me in a room like this. He's like, I don't know if you're gonna be there, but if you're there at 18, we're gonna take you. Like you're our guy.
Yeah. So he said that to you.
He said that to my face.
On, Jerry.
He said that to my face. And I told my mom, and 18 pick comes. She ended up telling me everybody shh. And then with the 18 pick, Cowboys pick, I think it was Travis Frederick, Wisconsin center. Yeah. And so now everybody's kind of like, and I just kind of like, man, these coaches lie, man. They do it all the time. So, day went by. We came back to day 2, and they literally, the 12th pick, they called my mom's phone. And I'm mingling with people, and they call my mom's phone. So she runs over there, give me the phone. It was Mr. Gettleman, the GM at the time for Carolina. Heart racing. Don't even know what I'm saying to him. And then he put Coach Revere on the phone. Then he put Coach Washington on the phone. Then they put one of the GAs on the phone. And he like, what number you want? He said about 8 numbers. And the first number that I heard was 68. Oh, it was so terrible. 68 for a D lineman. So, it was just like an unbelievable time where I just felt like weight was lifted off me. Just for that moment, because now you come in and you got to prove that you deserve to be here. Yeah. Once I got there, I seen a 2nd round draft pick get cut. So like now that just messed me up.
Yeah.
He got cut in year 2. Yeah. So I'm like, oh man, so this is where it's at. This is a cutthroat industry, and like now that you kind of seeing a lot of these guys is just because you're our guy right now don't mean we get you out of here. So they drafted 2 D tackles that year. And they end up cutting a 2nd round D tackle to make room for us. So I'm like, man, this is, if you're not producing, you're not staying. So like that was exactly. Yeah. Make us not want to cut you.
So everything in life, man, you got to update that resume.
Exactly, because somebody behind you want that job.
Sure.
Okay. So now you in the league, you experiencing success the same way you did in high school, the same way you did in college, but you also playing with probably, the top tier talent in the world. Like you actually played with an NFL MVP. You actually played in a Super Bowl. So what was that like playing with some of the top talent in the world, and who are some of the best players or guys that you seen do things and you're like, man, this is crazy? Because I know when I went to college, I seen a guy named Kevin Rollins. He was a huge linebacker, cut up, 6'4". He got on the track and ran a 4.4.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there's
Insane.
people out here like this.
It's so much talent in the NFL, man, and a lot of people can't. So a lot of people don't get the opportunity to showcase it. Yeah. And you see it from practice squad guys to even veteran guys. You know, we're playing with Cam and Julius Peppers, and I mean the list goes. Greg Olsen, those guys, man. I think the number one thing that you see as a young guy coming in, Steve Smith, is the work ethic that they put in.
Yeah.
Now I didn't see those guys when they was behind the scenes of when they first got into the league, but you're talking about Steve Smith that's already in year 10, one of the first ones on the field, practice field, stretching, doing what he needs to do to get himself mentally, physically ready to go out there and play, you know, a whole game. And, you know, they tell you like, oh, the most important thing is recovery. But, you know, NFL is like 90% mental.
Yeah.
And you working from probably 7:30 in the morning to almost 7 at night.
Yeah.
And just in between, you probably got hella walkthroughs, a full padded practice, meetings on top of meetings. It was more meetings than anything. But mentally, you just seeing those guys, man, you go into a team meeting room, just focus. You know, it was just all about the mentality of, you know, trying to be better than yesterday. And it fed off, you know, and just seeing those guys, man, just seeing the work ethic, it's like, man, I'm trying to get where those guys at.
Yeah.
And being in that position was able to actually last that long, man. It was just, man, I credit those guys for just following their footsteps and showing the way.
Yeah. So, man, how you know, I know, like you talked about the vets, everybody you played with. You know, one year I remember specifically was that 2015 year. Like, was it something different going into that year? Because, I mean, y'all, you know, Cam ended up winning the MVP. Y'all started 14-0. You know, you was all Pro Bowl. Like, was it something that y'all felt special or different going into that year?
It's crazy. It started off rocky. Josh and Cam fought in camp.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it was a little tension there. I mean, it was just a big scuffle.
Yeah.
They fought in there, and then Kelvin Benjamin towards ACL. So we had like these little bumps in the road that kind of like, all right, if y'all don't get over this, then y'all done. So, but I think the one thing that Coach Rivera did was let us play and let us not put a specific identity on top of our head. Like, we figured it out.
Yeah.
And like I said, we had majority a lot of vets on the team that year too. And those guys was kind of literally the captain, you know, of the ship. And we went as they went. And man, once we kind of just figured out, man, defense, our whole mentality was, you know, don't let them score, obviously, but it was stop the run on the way to the pass. And it was more like, we got to do what we need to do to, you know, keep getting Camden back the ball. Yeah. And man, the defense, we just came out, man. We literally had one of those type of years that, you know, it was crazy. So, but the most important thing was that we never thought about the next game. We always thought about the game that we was playing, and we couldn't get big head on. So everybody like, oh, Super Bowl. We started off 7-0. And I was like, oh, this is Carolina, you know. So, and then as we got to like 9-10-0, it's like, oh, we Super Bowl bound, you know, doing all that. And that was the year we kind of regained our identity because Seattle Seahawks had our number for years. Like, we just lost to those boys. And like once we went down there, beat them, it kind of just, now our gears shifted to we a great team. We just got to keep being consistent. So it was, 2015 was crazy. We lost that last game against Atlanta. We lost that last game. Atlanta. And then everybody's like, oh, they done. And then we won. We got that bye. We won on that run, and it was just, we never lost a beat after that. Yeah. And then that game, you know, we didn't win, but you know, it's a lot of speculations that what could have happened. But if you go back and look, man, Philly Brown caught the ball. They took him out because they said he had a concussion. Jericho, they said he dropped the ball. It was caught, and you can replay it all day. But, you know, it was It was Peyton Manning, man. So they scripted. Is that what that's they say? They scripted. Is that what they saying now?
Yeah. So, speaking on 2015, you've had success at every level. You retired now, but we talking about some of the greats that you played with, like you said, Julius Peppers, Steve Smith, Cam Newton. With everything you've accomplished at the end of your career, you're still a young man. How do you feel being one of those names? Because I'm sure when they speak, the Wave Nights podcast, and they talk about some of the best players that they played with, how do you feel being a kid from the Harbor that's being mentioned with NFL greats?
It feel good, man. It's just one of those things, man. Like, you glad you represent where you from. Like, you just never turned your back into, like, because this is who made me, and everybody had a piece of that. So I think one of those, the most important thing was literally taking a kid that didn't have nothing and trying to go get everything that he want. It was a mentality where no one gonna stop. Only how this is gonna fail if I fail it. Like if I did it, like I couldn't let nothing get in the way of what I had going on, steer me in the wrong direction. But also it just taught me, man, playing football and playing around these different group of personalities, these group of coaches. Everybody gave me a piece of some positive things, just taking as far as being a man, a dad, a friend, a teammate, all those things. And it was just a collective group, man, and I appreciate just that journey in general.
Okay, so I know with me and my brother, we blessed to be in a position that we are in, and, thank God daily. And a lot of people would define gangster as doing things in the streets and stuff, but to me, gangster is taking care of your family. And one of the most gangster things that I'm proud of is whatever my mother called and say she need, I can provide right away. Hey, the furniture, I want to put this on layaway. Nah, ma, pick what you want, we gonna get it. So what would be the most gangster thing you did, like for your mother, or a purchase you made for your daughter? What would be something that you was able to do and you was like, yeah, this is bossy. This is what I put all the work in for?
Honestly, man, just in that position, like you said, we just blessed, right? So I think the most gangster thing was, man, just able to not let it work, man. So she don't have to worry about going out and need to do this, need to do that, and this. My mom's a very simple lady, man. I try to tell her, like, look, you go. She let her license expire. I said, you go get your license. You can get any car you want. She just didn't go get it. Like that's just who she is. So she just never. Oh, my son this, and I can do this, that, and the third. It's just like I'm gonna still be the same person I was.
That's beautiful.
And then and as a dad, man, the most gangster thing is just. Man, my daughter college is paid for right now. Don't have to worry about it, Just simple like that. She don't have to no care in the world.
Just be a kid,
She's that girl, man. She don't even. I mean, she know what I've done, but she don't know the magnitude that I've done. And to the point where, if you want a car at 16, what kind of car you want? So that's the type of thing. I'm saying? Just to feel good as a coming from East Chicago.
Yeah, because. We all went to college with people who had them head starts on us. Right. Even getting a car on college wasn't the option for me.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't get one until my sophomore year. And in closing,
we want to talk about what's next for you. I know, we talk and you told me about what you got going with Platform, your sports bar in Charlotte. So just kind of, give the people a look into what your life is like now, what you got going on business-wise.
I got my hand in a little bit of things, man. Hotels. We just opened up a sports bar probably back in October in Charlotte.
That's dope.
So I'm with a group of guys with that, man, and it was just I could have been there something like that, but it was just finding the right time, the right group of guys to do it. And I just trust those guys that just in it. And also a casino in Carolina right now.
Okay.
So that's being built in a Culver's situation, and then a couple more other restaurants. So just trying to open up that portfolio to see what's next. But I'm simple, man. I'm trying to let my endorsement or my investments work for me instead of me, you know what I'm saying, trying to go out there. So that's really where I'm in right now, and really not focused on what I played football for almost 20 years, man, just as far as high school, you know, all that. But
because you also, it's like
just relaxing now, you know what I'm saying? Enjoying the fruits of labor. Exactly.
It's like, you know, we all got far more talent than just being athletes.
Did you have any vets that kind of put you on to, you know, what football is going to look like, you know, I mean, what life is going to look like after football, or, you know, kind of steer you in the way of some investments? Or?
No. I mean, you know, you get a lot of advice from different people, but also understand that your situation is not my situation.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Your place is not my place. And once you figure that out, man, just because I invested in McDonald's don't mean, you know, you're in the funds of McDonald's. Yeah, exactly. I just got in at the right time. You know, this is what I did. I can tell you what I did, and you can learn off my mistakes and all that. But I think those guys, man, just playing with those type of people in Carolina, man, it just told me that after football, I can call them guys and they can just have a conversation, you know, with about anything, you know. So you got guys in different avenues now. Insurance companies and, you know, banking and all that stuff, and that's where you just see, like I said earlier, the different personalities. Everybody enjoys something else different, you know. Got a guy that just built his own auto shop, you know, so, you know, things like that. But I think the most important thing was understanding yourself first before you go off and venture out, and anything else.
And then, you know, just wrapping up, like I said, the final question, the thought I want you to touch on. I think we all have a responsibility coming from where we from to pay it forward. We want to build the next Kawann Short. You know, we want to get some gems and pour into our youth. And, you know, we all want to push them to be better and achieve more than we did. So what would you say to that next kid coming up in East Chicago? Just some advice, you know, you could give to the youth in our city.
I listen, go on, man, but I'll just say, man, enjoy the moment. And enjoy being a kid first before trying to be an adult, man. It's a lot of responsibilities with both, but less thinking with, you know, as a kid, man, and just enjoy your age, enjoy the now. Understand that you're in a driven society where, you know, a lot of people see things in front of them that kind of deviate them to do the same thing, but also understand yourself, where you at, where you're trying to go, and how you're going to get there, and just enjoy the process while you're doing it.
Okay, man, that's a wrap, man. This is probably moving up to one of my favorite, if not my favorite episode, man. We appreciate you, wish you much success.
Much love, man. I appreciate that, man.
Definitely, man. Appreciate it, man.
These guys,
before we get off of here, though, man, you know, if you had a pick right now, today, who you taking for the league MVP? Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
Lamar. No doubt. I mean, the numbers just speak for itself, I mean, consistently 3 years in a row is crazy. But who y'all got winning the whole thing, though?
Man, if I could pick right now, man, I might go Baltimore, man. This might be that year.
I'm riding with Baltimore, too.
It's the winner of today's game. I think so.
I think you know, with them being able to get Kyle Hamilton back into his role, moving him around, like that didn't change that whole defense. So with Lamar and Derrick Henry, like, you know, playing in the elements, that's going to force them to use their strength. Like, let's not try to get too cute. Use your strength, man, and just bulldoze the rest of these teams.
I think KC I don't think you can play the way they played all year and just turn it on and win the Super Bowl. Yeah, they haven't been the best team in football all year. So I think Lamar.
Seen Kelsey yesterday though. He ain't do that all year, and boom,
he probably saving himself.
They just needed that week off, I guess. But if Zay Flowers come back, I think they
make
take
it
it.
Day. Yeah. It's a wrap, man.
Appreciate y'all, boys.
Appreciate you, man. Shit.